Okay.
Dewey, alumni of the Shooting Cars podcast, welcome back.
I'm excited.
I first have to say thank you, because
What?
last podcast, you told me about the Viper ACR tires that are like nuts, and I've been telling everyone about it, and they think that I'm super smart, when it's not the case. I just heard it from you.
Dude, so Street GT, which we're just going to shoot straight into time attack.
Yeah,
but Street GT is a time attack class in Gridlife that was set up for like larger muscle cars and stuff like that all last year. So we talked, it was a ways in the past last year.
August,
something like that. It went nuts. Now all those guys are running Viper ACRs. And it's even gotten crazier with some vets and stuff coming into track mod, and their rules only allow 100 treadwear tire. Actually, I think they lowered it to 60.
Okay.
But either way, I think they're down to 60 these days. But all of those guys are now running Viper ACR tires. They're like hacking their fenders out and all sorts of crap. So it's rowdy.
I remember you telling me there was a higher prize money at some race, I think Mid-Ohio, if you didn't run these tires.
If you did not run those tires, there was this thing called King of the Hill that was ran out. I think it was in Ohio, but it wasn't at Mid-Ohio. And it was this insane like autocross thing that these cars, they were bringing insane cars to this. Absolutely nuts cars to this. And there was a higher prize if you didn't run Viper ACRs. And then they ran it, and still, like, the top 10 guys were on ACRs. Like, everybody just showed up with ACRs. Because if you wanted to win it, you had to run ACRs.
So, I was thinking on the way over here, first of all, you're the tire king in my mind.
I'm not,
we're about to talk about Tiregate.
Oh, no.
What is Tire... I mean, you told me a little bit about it.
Yeah.
What is happening
I'll try to explain Tiregate. Okay, so everybody's... I would even go as far as to say the most popular time attack figure in the country right now is probably Jackie Gang. Okay. Jackie has a sponsorship through Nankang Tires.
By the way, anyone who would like to defend themselves is more than welcome to contact me and come on the podcast to defend yourself. Before we get into all
I'm not here to slay Jackie either.
Right.
So I'm gonna tell you the facts, and then how I feel about the facts. And I'm sure I'm going to be disputed on the facts, but this is the facts as somebody who is seeing it as a competitor, and I actually worked last weekend as a scrutineer, is seeing this. So I'm seeing somehow this is going on in the background too. But with that stated, Jackie has a sponsorship with Nankang. Okay, Jackie's Supra is an extremely well put together vehicle, and Nankang is one of his major sponsors. And from a competitor standpoint, especially if somebody who's trying to see this series grow, and it has been, because Street Mod is going crazy.
Insanely grown.
Insanely. It's nuts. But either way, to see one of our main guys, and one of the guys that I'm in direct competition with, get a tire sponsorship, we all should be happy about that, because that elevates all of us.
Right.
Okay, so it's really great to see him get a tire sponsorship.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
that's killer. Honestly, it's one of the dreams we all want, is get a tire sponsorship. Okay, so him getting a tire sponsorship is awesome. Nankang, I think, is even taking it a step further and going, we really want to support this guy in particular.
Right.
And again, that is awesome that a tire manufacturer is going, we want to get behind you, a street mod time attack figure, and we want to help you win your class. I think that's fantastic.
100%.
And so
on board so far.
I'm totally about this. But what Jackie showed up with is questionable at best.
Okay.
So Jackie shows up to Gridlife Midwest with a set of Nankangs nobody has ever heard of. I'm not exactly sure of the name or what it is, but essentially it's a 200 treadwear tire nobody has ever heard of. So somebody, I think, immediately protested him. And
really?
Yeah, he immediately got protested on this. The problem is, the protest is kind of still going on. Jackie states that he basically got the first set of a tire that is coming. Okay. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
okay,
that would be awesome. Yeah.
Jackie states he's the first person to get the first set of this tire that is coming. And the only reason it's held up is due to a lot of this COVID stuff. And it very well could be. The problem is, the only other place in the country that even lists this tire as existing is a place called Our Compound out in California.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you can order it through them. It just exists on their site. It's the only other mention of this tire other than him actually physically having a set. So the only two places you can get them from is Jackie Ding, who will sell you a set for a kind of absurd amount. Let's call it a premium.
Right.
That premium, according to Jackie, is due to the fact that there is air freight involved with this, because the only way to get them is air freighting tires individually. But I still believe that nearly $700 a tire is maybe a little bit insane for a 200 treadwear tire.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not buying Formula One tires here.
Right.
Okay, so they're a 200 treadwear tire. They're supposed to be a street tire that's like super grippy. Now, our compound has them on there, but you can't even pre-order them. If you call any other Nankang dealer in the country, and a lot of them could just be misinformed because this is probably going to be a fairly niche tire, which is cool.
Yeah.
They either deny the fact that it exists or just will look at you stupid. They have no idea it exists.
Okay.
So, Jackie, now we go into the recent Autobahn event.
Right.
His tires were being protested, but he hasn't exactly lost the protest yet. So he's still able to continue driving on these tires. What they keep asking for is he needs more proof. And basically what he got told is the next event is Mid-Ohio. He needs to provide a lot more proof. The level
of the existence
of this tire, the fact that they are coming and other people can purchase them. He just happens to be at this such extreme tip of the spear that he's going to be the first one to get these.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. If
if
he's the guy. But if really what they did is take their sticky compound and just stick it in the mold for their 200 treadwear compound and call it 200 treadwear,
there's going to be issues.
That's going to suck. That's going to suck for everybody involved. Now, I can say it isn't like he's throwing a set of Hoosiers on there. They're not so fast that they're unfair, but nobody else has tested them. So if we were to stick them on, say, Alex Moss's S2000, does Alex Moss go significantly faster than he does on an AO52 or not? I don't know. Mm-hmm. What I can tell you is other manufacturers also, they flat out lie about treadwear. We just had the Viper ACR conversation.
The last episode.
RE71s are like 100 treadwear. The AO52s are down there around 100 treadwear. So what Nankang is doing isn't something that other tire manufacturers aren't doing and just lying and saying these are 200 treadwear tires. Everybody's doing it, including Falcon, who just got in on it, and now their new 660, I guess, is RE71 fast. So, which is really cool, and they seem to be very reasonably priced, and I can't wait to try them. And if Falcon wants to hit me up, just saying, I would love to.
Listening.
I would love to like have a long conversation. I will go stomp out some Nankang.
I think the Boogeyman deserves it. As what we're sitting in front of. I realized the last podcast we didn't even talk about it, or the thumbnail was this car, but
but we ended up just wandering into space.
Yeah,
we're trying to beautify it. That's the plan. It ran into a wall at Speedring and really messed the car up. I ate the bumper and a bunch of other stuff, and it's been held together by literally duct tape and some random stuff we got at Home Depot.
Yeah.
And it needs to be sorted out, and we're doing that.
Yeah.
So it should be. We got a nice 22B front end for it, and I might even have side skirts for the first time. I don't know when.
Yeah, I know. Going up in the world. So going back to Jackie.
Yeah.
So, because I know we're going to go off.
Let's try to keep this semi-topical because it's this is hot topic right now. Hot topic.
So what happens if they're contested and they rule it?
See, this is the thing we're all wondering as competitors. So let's say if he provides enough proof, to where the Gridlife officials go, you know what? It's fine. Mm-hmm. You're good. You can run them. There's enough of these that are going to be around. It's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But if he has found that this is too sketchy, not enough people can buy them, what are we going to do?
Right.
You know,
are his last two races invalid?
Are they invalid? Because that protest started then.
Right.
You know, are they invalidated? Like, what's going to happen? Is he going to lose his points? Is he not? Are they going to be like, you know, we let you slide for these two, you'll keep the points for that, but you have to be on a different tire? More than likely, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So I'm not super familiar with the whole Gridlife series.
Sure.
So if he loses the points from the last 2 races,
I don't think he's going to be in contention to
at all.
I don't think he'd be in contention for the season at that point.
Wow. Okay. So this could make or break the
that
season,
could really ruin
which
him.
has already been cut short a little bit.
Yeah, we ended up losing 1 event out of it. So they
really?
rearranged some stuff, but we did lose 1 event.
Okay.
So that's hats off to the Gridlife staff. Chris over there, man, they've been scrambling like hell. This was super scary for them because you got to understand the reason Gridlife exists is due to festivals.
Right.
Okay, the Time Attack and the GLTC and HPD, it does not pay the bills.
Right.
Okay, they're lucky if they break even. Most of the time they lose money on those events. Gingerman, the Gridlife event that everybody goes, oh yeah, dude, Gridlife.
Yeah.
You know, people, you know, when they think Gridlife, they think of these huge festivals with music and drifting and all this stuff, and people, the general admission from that pays the bills, man.
Yeah,
that's what keeps the doors open. Yeah, and I mean, if you can't do that right now. I mean, if you've been to a Gridlife event, you're nut to butt everywhere in there, and it's a total ride. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, but you can't do that with, you know, pandemic crap. So they have to play within the rules. So what they did is they kind of played long ball, and they went, okay, we're going to take the the October event, which is usually a smaller event. Mm-hmm. We're going to move the concept of that to when the normal Gridlife Festival event would be, and we're going to knock the festival out to October and hope to God this all makes sense. And then we have to cancel that first event, and then we got to basically hope the community is like, yo, I mean, we still want to work with you and whatever. Yeah. Let's figure this out. And everybody just doesn't, like, throw a chargeback like, oh, I'm pissed. You know, I'm not going to get my event when I want it and say, give me my money back. Because they would give you money back, but it could tank the company. Yeah. Because that's how a lot of these companies are built. They're built on whatever the next event's going to be.
And Gridlife is a huge event, don't get me wrong.
It's huge, and it's ran really well.
New. In the world of things, it hasn't been around for 30, 50 years. It's fairly new,
but even some of these massive things that have been around for, you know, like Lollapalooza or whatever, you know, these huge things, they're shitting their pants, okay, because they run per event. You know, if they go bankrupt, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm sure even, I hate saying this, you know, I don't want to, you know, if for some reason Gridlife, as the corporation, weren't to make it, I'm sure something would step in and fill the void that would be just as awesome. Right. But nobody wants to see what we know and love as Gridlife, just as a community, like that. Even if it's just a name, you know, even if it's just a name, nobody wants to see that, like, not be that. You know what I mean? So what's been really cool and what we've seen from the community is everybody's really stuck with it. Yeah. Everybody's really stuck with it. Everybody is kept their, you know, if an event gets canceled or moved or whatever, they figure out how to make it work, or they just say, hey, okay, well, I'll do this event later on. Can we just transfer the ticket? You know, I'm sure it's been hell on the backside for those guys, but they figured it out. Yeah. You know, which I wanted
to talk to you about that, like, because you helped work the Gridlife event.
Yeah, that was cool.
Mid-pandemic. What's different?
Honestly, we don't have hardly any spectators there. The spectators that are there because they're with a family or something. They got in with like a ticket as like a crew pass or something. Like the Time Attack competitors, they get 2 crew passes, I think. So like, you can usually bring like your homie you're going to force to work on shit, and then the homie that's just going to sit there because everybody's got that guy. Yep. Sitting right here. I'm going to sit and drink this beer while I watch you wrench on this thing.
Yeah. Throw a couple jokes in there. And
I'm here for moral support.
100%.
So those are the only people who can really watch right now.
Right.
Drifting was unfortunately kind of lame because people were. That's all you had. They're drifting, but you don't have crowds going, whoa!
Yeah,
you know?
There's no fanfare with it.
They've been pretty normal around the pit area.
Okay.
You see about 50-50 mask usage, but I got to be honest, you're wrenching on a car.
Oh.
It's almost impossible to wear a mask because you're, you know, especially when it's 90 to 100 degrees in this parking lot, you're trying to like
heat wave.
Been rough, and it always is this time of year.
Yeah.
You know. Hope that's not too loud.
What is that?
I don't know. It's a Super Bowl. It's what we do, you know. So we were talking just a second ago about me working at a Gridlife event.
Right.
Okay, so essentially, Abram, the main scrutineer and kind of the rules guy for Gridlife normally, he just had a kid, and basically the doctor recommended, hey, don't go be around a ton of people, and who knows what the situation's going to be. You know, let kids' immune system build up a little bit is kind of the concept I got out of it. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the situation is. He couldn't be there. Something to do with he just had a kid.
Yeah, no, and I think we all agree.
I think that all makes sense.
Yeah.
So he was on hand if I needed to text him for anything, but he needed somebody to be there for eyes.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to go to the damn event. I got to be honest. People, I've said it a million times. People have heard me repeatedly. I love Gridlife to pieces. Mm-hmm. I hate Autobahn.
Yeah.
I hate it. Really, the track doesn't do much for me, but I don't like the people who run it. I had maybe the worst tow experience of my entire life there. I feel like they don't want Gridlife there. They treat us like shit. The members treat us like shit. It's ridiculous. We're their biggest event, and they treat us like a bag of ass. If they don't want us there, just say it. Mm-hmm. I think they want our money. They just don't want us.
I was going to say, I don't think they can turn. I mean, Gridlife brings eyes. And it
does.
People.
But they don't give two shits about the eyes.
Yeah.
That's the thing about that country club is they could care less if anybody knows it's there.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They make their money from dudes with $500,000 Porsches and stuff like that wanting to go out there and drive slowly. Mm-hmm. So, and it's always in the middle of the summer.
Always.
In the middle of a parking lot.
Always.
A jet black parking lot. It is a type of heat that I've never even experienced at Road Atlanta that you feel there. It's awful. It's oppressive heat. I wasn't going to go because that's how that event always is. But then I hit Adam up and I'm like, hey man, I actually don't have shit going on this weekend, and I volunteered myself if they need any help, which I either way, I volunteered, and Adam's like, I could really use a screw mirror, and I'm like, all right, I can do that. I'll just walk around and just nitpick, and then I can hang out and have a good time. Screw it, I'll go. So that was awesome. I didn't think that was going to be anywhere near as fun. Again, the Autobahn staff, they were being semi-dicks most of the time, and the track is meh, but the guys were great. Gridlife was great. Street Mod, insane. Watching that as a spectator was so cool because I'm used to wrenching on this thing the entire weekend.
Yeah.
I got to get it ready for the next whatever the hell we're doing. I'm making changes and trying to
You were watching those side-by-side videos when I walked in, and I thought they found world peace or something.
Dude,
you were
yes, it's so good, and you can. What's really crazy is this year's Street Mod is nuts.
Yeah,
like I told you earlier, from the last 3 events that have happened, the cumulative margin of victory, so all of them added together, is just over 1/10 of a second. All of them added together.
Insane.
It's nuts. You can't get that sort of parity anywhere. No. And these are completely different built cars. This is Boogeyman versus Alex Moss.
Yeah.
This is Sean Crespach's Evo versus Alex Moss.
That's the biggest thing is that I recently went up to a Spec Miata event up in North America. Insanely competitive because they're all identical cars.
Yes.
But this is pulling something from every region of the world, and they're that competitive together.
But not only that, we're talking this last event was won by less than 100th.
Right.
Okay, that's under a car length.
Yeah.
Okay, for a whole minute 30-ish lap, that's nothing. That's like a photo finish at a Spec Miata race close. And these are drastically different cars. Like I'm saying, Alex Moss's car is drastically different than Jackie Ding's car, which is drastically different than Sean Crespach's car, which is drastically different from my car. We all have a different approach to accomplishing the same thing. Hell, we all run different tires.
Yeah.
We have the same tire rule set that we all have to abide by, but these are drastically different cars, approached completely different, and we're all this close.
It's like running into your twin in public.
It's
insane.
But like upside down twin. I know you're my family, but what?
Well, no, yeah.
It's nutty. And we were watching that 3-piece video, how it's different how all of them make speed. You know, some will be 10 plus miles an hour faster in the corners, and then the other one will be 10 plus mile an hour faster in the straightaways.
So let's break that one down that we were talking about. Was that corner 4 or 5 that we were looking at? $1 million corner on Autobahn South?
It was further in than $1 million corner, but
okay. So what, the S2000 was doing 91.
Yeah, and then Sean's car was somewhere 80,
which is the
80,
Evo
78,
9.
which is the Evo 9, and then Jackie's car was a couple mile an hour faster than the Evo.
Yeah. But then that Evo straightaways was right there.
Would burn their ass. And then, but what was crazy is like a couple corners later, you'd see where the speeds were a little higher and Jackie's super fancy arrow was working.
Yeah.
And like his speeds would be closer to what the S2000 would be. And the Evo was like off pace there. But then the Evo would hit the straight and let the dog eat and just run it down. And it was... Man, that is cool. Like, I can't wait to overlay some of my data with their data at one of these 100%. Other.
Yeah.
So I've already like kind of figured out what the layout of this season's going to be, and if I have any prayer of winning this, I have to have a really good showing at Mid-Ohio, which is the next event.
When is that?
End of this month. Okay. So the end of July, like the last day of July, going into whatever that weekend is.
Okay.
So the first couple of days of August.
Yeah.
I have to podium pretty well. I have to keep really close to whoever wins that or win it, which obviously winning it's what I'd want to do anyway. I have to then go to Road America, which I have a massive advantage at because I'm not going to say the slipperiest car, but I'm pretty sure I make the least amount of downforce out of all of us, but my power to weight murders them.
Right.
And I need to throttle their asses there like I did last year.
What video? I think you were on was it the front straightaway?
Yeah, going around that Wesley's.
Yes.
Wesley's.
That in-car video was insane to watch.
And that dude, there was a lot of time out there. So I plan on picking 3 to 4 seconds up this year. But those guys are going to probably pick 3 to 4 seconds up.
Yeah, that's true too.
I need to gap them by that amount. We're talking like a 3-second gap. I have to slaughter them.
A 3-second gap is not...
That's not something you do in Street Mod.
No.
You just don't do that in Street Mod anymore. We're talking the last 3 races, cumulative margin of victory has been 1/10 of a second. I need to get 3 seconds on these dudes.
Yeah.
Because of the way the points will play out, because it actually works on... You get 100 points if you win, and then second place can get 99 points if they're like super close.
Wow. Okay.
Alex and I were so close that it was like a couple hundredths. Like it was like or thousands. It was like right there that he ended up getting 100 points with me on the first event.
Oh wow!
So I won, but he was like so close that the way the math actually works, he didn't jump to the 99 point. He got a full 100 points, even though I got the first and he got the second. So I have to gap them enough to where it knocks their points down a bit to where I can make some space up because I really didn't have the greatest showing at Gingerman at all. I had so many issues. I got 4th, but I was 4th and off by a good amount, so I didn't get shit for points there. And then I have to go to Gingerman and win, which is going to be hell because these cars are insane.
Sub 140 though, right?
Oh, wait, yeah. We're actually having conversations about sub 130s now.
Really?
I think a 31 is going to win Gingerman.
Wow.
And to give you context of that, last year leaving Gingerman, a 32, like a 32 flat, was the track mod record.
So that's cutting a second off.
I set what everybody thought was an insane record with a 134.5 last October as a street mod record. And then they went there and cut a full second off that in not pristine conditions. We had absolutely phenomenal conditions.
Yeah.
The rest of the field showed up and literally showed up. Like,
they got participation. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully Sean wasn't there because if Sean was there, I think we would have got our asses just stomped out. But Sean didn't show up for that event. Alex won it. Ronnie Sullivan, who's actually kind of new to the street mod game, showed up and got second, which was awesome. I love seeing Ronnie do things. I knew he was going to be quick. He's an extremely smart guy.
What does he drive?
An Evo. He's the owner of RS Motors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
RS, Ronnie Sullivan. So, showed up, really did well with that car, and then Jackie was 3rd. Okay. And I was 4th behind him.
And that was still with the Supra? Because he got the Supra last year, right? Okay.
Yep, that was with the Supra.
Okay.
He didn't even touch the S2K anymore. I've heard rumors that he's going to throw a K-Series in it, stick it street for fun. Oh, yeah, he still got it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so where we dyno where our dyno's at, that's now his shop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's actually got, like, cars and shit in there. Jackie's doing things.
So I've only seen him drive a couple of times, but I've been watching his YouTube channel.
Sure.
And it's been picking up traction. He's
big
been
time.
posting some really cool
stuff. The better Jackie does, the better it is for everybody else.
Right, 100%.
And again, which is why we're all excited when Jackie goes and gets a sponsor like Nankang. That's great for everybody. We're all excited.
Yeah, maybe you'll get one. Maybe, you know.
Yeah, saying if this guy becomes this massive celebrity, and you can say something along the lines of, I compete against this guy directly, that means something.
Right.
Because even in a way, you're going to show up in his video. You know, this works for everybody. The social snowball is real.
100%. Yeah.
So,
Jackie, you should come on. I really do want to sit down and talk to you.
Dude, I guarantee you would. Super approachable dude.
Yeah, he seems awesome. And
I think it would be cool to see his side of this whole Nanking
100%
Tiregate issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tiregate, boy, you thought Tiger stuff was spicy last year. So I'm a scrutineer for the first time ever.
Which, describe to some people what that
Okay, essentially entails. A scrutineer is what I do is walk around just make sure people are following the rules. I need to know the rule book off the top of my head fairly good, and then I can look anything up I need to. I mean, I essentially just walked around and kicked people out of the classes that they thought they were in up to other classes. And,
really?
Yeah. I only did 2, so wasn't that bad. Most of it was like this one guy was just there for fun anyway.
Yeah.
He had some front aero on his car, which meant he can't run street, he needs to run street mod.
Oh, okay.
So I had to, you're actually street mod, you need to do this unless you're willing to take your arrow off. He's like, I don't even care, I'm not here for times anyway, so whatever, I'm just having a good time. So he bumped up the street mod. We had another whole debacle about headlights. We're not going to go into that one, but that was a rough one.
Headlight gate will be the next podcast.
Headlight gate was rough, and that continues raging right now too. But that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
When you, especially in the lower classes, because your sandbox is so small, you're going to run into the rules limits a lot. The larger that gets, the less you run into that. But we're in the bottom 2 classes. I say bottom, but the most restrictive classes, I should say, because they're not bottom classes.
Yeah. They're the most fun to watch.
They're incredible. But the most restrictive classes tend to cause 90% of the scrutineering.
Right.
So, protests and things like that, you got to go look at these things. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I was doing, just trying to be the cop.
Yeah.
So, which was fun. It gave me a different perspective, and I got to be honest, I haven't watched modern day street mod as a fan.
Yeah.
I haven't got to watch much Time Attack as a fan, other than maybe watching Super Lap Battle on their live casts and stuff like that. But being there and watching it as a fan, and being able to walk around, because I'm not wrenching on this, seeing what these other guys are doing between sessions to find speed, that was fun.
Yeah.
More people need to do that, and more people need to be informed on how to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's like Formula One. Formula One, a lot of people got really interested in Formula One with these new Netflix series.
Yeah.
They're a riot. But what a lot of people don't realize is they got interested in Formula One not due to the racing. Well, we gave 2 shits of what was the story between the races is where all the drama's at.
Yeah.
And that same thing is happening at a Time Attack event, except it's happening between sessions. You can see this happening live. Yeah. Somebody needs to be running around like Jim Cantori from Weather Channel, oh man, we're over here by Alex Moss, and he's hacking a hole in his hood to relieve pressure, whoa, live and get amped about it. If Time Attack was shown correctly, I think presented in the right light, the fans would just explode on it because they get interested in what's going on in between.
Yeah.
Now, nothing against what Gears and Gasoline have done, because their coverage has really shown a light in our area,
100%.
Which is awesome. But there needs to be something more up to date and on the minimal side of it. I want to see the small things.
Yeah.
Some of the more, I want to know why Alex Moss is hacking a hole in his hood.
Yeah.
And I want somebody to go over and talk to Alex and go, what are you doing and why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, they literally pulled his hood off at the track. He's got this brand new paint job and took a frickin' grinder to it and cut a hole in it.
Did he ever say why? Did he ever
because what was happening is at higher speeds, they were getting a high pressure zone under the hood, and the hood was flexing up.
Oh.
So it ended up almost making it like a scoop, and it was catching a bunch of air, and it was causing problems.
Yeah.
So they borrowed it up. I don't know if you can see on my hood, but I have that big vent.
Yeah.
There's another guy that had that identical vent on a car that they just broke, unfortunately. He's like, I need to borrow that. And they pulled that vent off, cut the hole in the hood for that vent, and riveted it on right there. And I think he found a full second from it.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love some type of series that would bring you into
really
because really out there, like you said, the racing is out there, but it's really like man to man. It's
what's going on track is, I got to be honest, it's like rally, okay? Yeah. And if you physically go to a rally event, if you don't know what's going on, it's not entertaining.
Yeah.
It's not. You're waiting for a long time to see a car go ripping by. You don't know what's happening. Watching wheel to wheel, whole different story. You can see what's going on in front of you, and that's why I like watching a GLTC race. Total riot, because you can see what's happening. Yeah. We're all screaming and cheering and all. Watching that makes sense. Watching time attack is hard. It's beautiful for social media though. It just needs to be approached correctly. So I'm pitching this for somebody to do it because I don't have time because I'm wrenching, but I want to see somebody approach it that way. It could be done. It could be done really easy, and it needs to be done by somebody who knows just enough about cars to really kind of have a concept of, wow, this is actually kind of insane, but to ask the questions that like somebody who maybe doesn't understand a whole lot about time attack would care about, not get so technical that you're like losing the concept.
Right.
So it would be, I think it could work really well, and literally do like, I think nonstop live casts would be sick.
100%.
Because you can follow what's happening per session. There's a couple of different apps to do that by. You can see if they gained time or lost it or whatever. You could do a daily recap of things that happened, stuff like that, but it's rough. And I think time attack is getting there. It's how do you present it? It's like stage rally. Stage rally sucks watching it on TV. And when ESPN tried to present stage rally back in the day with like the SCCA Pro Rally series, they tried to approach it like any other sport they did. They just covered action, cars doing stuff, and then talked over the top of it, and that's it.
Yeah.
That ain't the right way to do it.
No.
The way to do that would have been film it like it's a reality TV show. Follow it kind of how Gears and Gasoline was following Time Attack. Like, follow it like it's Street Outlaws.
Yeah.
You got a few different guys, find out what they're doing between events, but try to get closer to them during the events, try to get a lot of video, things like that, and get really involved with what's going on in these people's heads.
Yeah.
And you need to be a little nutty to do stage rally. Kind of like you need to be a little nutty to do this. The characters behind it are so good.
This is not something I would willingly put myself to. I mean, this thing is nuts. I mean, you say that now. This thing is rowdy.
It's batshit to drive. We went to the Gingerman event, okay, and we're currently working on maybe we're thinking about changing our engine program a little bit, so we're having some conversations with some different people on that, which that's almost finalized, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be good. And then Borg Warner, who has been a phenomenal sponsor to me, by the way, sent me one of their brand new 8474s, and I have the 8374 on there, so I have a bigger turbo ready to go on it, but we didn't really get a chance to put that on yet, so I had a turbo I didn't really have to care about, and a motor I really didn't have to care about. So I was like,
what can we do?
So all last year, the highest we ever ran was like 30-ish, maybe 31 PSI. Most of the season was done at 25 to 28 PSI. And we just ran flat out 35 the whole weekend. This thing, I guarantee that's what a Group B rally car felt like. Because it just blows the tires off on corners if you let it. You just lay into it and like, wow, the whole thing kicks out. It is nuts. All four just burning off.
So what is this thing? I mean, like, what?
What is it? This is a 95 Impreza L. Okay, so base model, base model bitch Impreza. And why did I want that? No sunroof, roll-up windows, super basic, very light. Okay, as basic as I could get it, which is kind of how the Japanese domestic market STIs came. Okay, so then it's got kind of a 22B-esque wide body for wheel fitment and things like that. I guess the simplest way to say is it has a Japanese domestic market version 9 swap. It's the closest thing I could equate it to, because it's kind of a hodgepodge of parts, but it's a version 9 trans. It's a set of version 8 heads, which are version 9, version 8 are basically the same thing. It's a currently what's in it is an out front Motorsports 2-liter closed deck with a plus 2 millimeter rod and kind of our own specs on piston and a spec seat crank on a daily dry sump oiling system, which is getting replaced with a Magnus dry sump oiling system due to a design feature that I hate about the daily, but again. But on a full race twin scroll Borg Warner EFR 8474 is what's going on it. And then it's on a set of 255 RE71s, which is probably what I'll run most of the rest of the year. Those ones are shot, but
if the class allowed it and you could run wider tires, would you?
Fuck yes. Yeah. Oh my God, in a heartbeat. I'd put 295s under this tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd put ACRs on this thing. You wouldn't even blink. I'd be like, Viper ACRs. I'd cram a 19-inch Viper ACR tire under this thing tomorrow.
I would love to see that. Just like one day.
We might actually do it because we have a set of wheels that would fit under this with Viper ACR tires on it. We might try it just for shits.
Right.
But it would just be for shits again.
Yeah, because it wouldn't fit within the class.
Yeah, it would pop me into street mod and track mod. But other than that, some AJ Hartman stuff, and what you end up with is I took a Honda like EGEK approach to building a Subaru with a really lightweight chassis and a boatload of revs, and it makes a pile of horsepower. On that 35, we were probably about 650 wheel. I think.
Now, competitive within your class,
yeah.
are like sharing things like that. Like, obviously, you just said it on a podcast, so it's not huge. But like,
are
people like they don't? I don't
one
want
of the
you
things
to know.
I really like about the Gridlife community is not only do we share like things to help each other out. Like Sally McNulty and I talk a lot.
Yeah.
Because she's got a similar setup. Mike Almick and I talk a lot. The nicest guy in Time Attack, Peter Zhang, and I talk a lot. These are all Subaru guys. I help out Joshua Hulka, who's he's kicking ass in the street class right now. So we share a ton of info. Hey, what works for you, what doesn't? And that's just within the Subaru guys. But then we start talking like Sean and I, we both have all-wheel drive cars on 255s. Yeah. He's more than happy to tell me what tire pressures you running,
Yeah.
Well, we share that info. How is this working for you? How's that working for you? But it even goes deeper than that. And this is something like AIM, the company that most of us use for like the Solo 2, or I'm running the AIM dashboard, which operates kind of the same way.
Okay.
Most of us have AIM Solo 2s, and that's how we figure out.
I just think of AIM Instant Messenger.
Yeah, no, we all
messaging
do.
Each other.
Yeah. What's up, dude? I'm in turn 3 right now.
SubiFan43 just sent you a message.
So either way, we all get our data from our sessions, and we share our data amongst each other too. A lot of us do, and especially after the event, we overlay our data, see where we're faster, where we're not, and it makes all of us go faster.
Yeah.
I would rather be 4th place and all of us beat the record than me win and none of us beat the record.
Right.
Okay, so to us, we want us to go collectively faster. We want to beat each other. I especially want to beat Jackie. Okay, but we all collectively want to see each other go faster.
Yeah.
So like last year when Jackie was at Super Lap Battle, dude, even with all the drama that we're having now, if Jackie were the only one to go to Super Lap Battle, or this weekend he's going to be at Global Time Attack, we're all going to be cheering for Jackie.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's one of our guys.
That's the difference between Gridlife, I feel like, and a lot of other series.
Yes.
I know a lot of guys that like will not share any information, and I've met people that are like, hey, don't film my engine bay, don't film this, don't film that.
Yeah.
And it's like I respect that obviously, but it's also like, what are you gaining that much?
See, we're all super open about it.
Yeah.
We like to see what other people are doing, and we share an absurd amount of data, stuff that you'd never see in any other form of racing.
Yeah.
Because we all collectively want to go faster. Now, with that stated, I guarantee there's stuff that people don't realize is going on in this car.
Yeah.
And I don't realize is going on in other cars, and certain people are getting special tires, you know what I mean? That we just don't want to look at.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
I mean, there are things that, like, we don't share everything, but we share a majority of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really cool how we do that. Now, I'm not running unlimited. I can tell you that from what I have seen of being friends of both Will All Young and James Houghton, who, to put it mildly, they just don't like each other, okay? Which is crazy because they're 2 Canadians. They live like 20 miles apart from each other.
Was this the guy with the Civic?
One's with the Civic, one's with the Integra.
Okay.
They live like 20 miles apart from each other. Okay, they both are arguably the 2 fastest guys in North America, okay, in any form of time attack. They're ridiculously fast. Both drive front-wheel drive Hondas. They hate each other guns. They hate each other. Like, those two won't share info for shit. And nobody, you know, with as much as those two, like, groan about each other, Will had a really ugly accident at Road America last year.
That's what I was thinking.
And ended up doing the car in. I mean, James Houghton's stomach, you could see it. Like, he's got video, I think, of, like, when it happened. He found out about it. Like, I mean, you could see nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't think they're going to share info. I guarantee he ain't giving data.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see what I got, you can eat my ass.
Yeah.
That you ain't getting anything from that. But I think when I was down in street class, dude, we were sharing everything at the track.
Yeah.
You know, I had my direct competitor was helping me do an alignment.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's the further you go down in class, but street mod has become crazy competitive to the point where there's actually starting, like Mankang, you know, to funnel money into this to try to win this ridiculous class.
That's so huge.
And yet we're still sharing data.
Yeah.
You know, we're still trying to help each other out.
Yeah.
And it's such a different environment.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure you go talk to like some circle track racers that are a little more down home and there's not a ton of money on the line or something like that. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to like give you some advice, but I doubt they'll ever let you see the data.
Yeah. Huh. I love hearing that because, like, to me it's always like why be so secret? Like, I guess like you get that edge.
You tend to get that, especially in drag racing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to figure something out. It's some communities just are like that. So
I love Foresters. Oh.
Yeah, that's Mark's actual Forester.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's his personal car.
Is it turbo?
Yeah. Hey, you can get yourself an XT cheap these days, dude.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I would love to pick up one of those.
Yeah, they're great cars.
Yeah.
Yep, you treat them right, they're good. So, the Subaru community's always been really open.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always like, oh, yeah, pop the hood, take a look, whatever. So you're at a meet, anybody's like, hey, man, let me check that out. Sweet, pop the hood. They just want to talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
Hey, how can I help you? What's going on? I went to an Evo meet once. This was before the Evo was canceled. This was quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
This girl we all hung out with, she had an Evo and she hung out with the Subaru crew, but like still had an Evo, so she like went to Evo meets and stuff, and she's like, yeah, you guys are just a ton of fun. You should all come to an Evo meet, maybe lighten the mood up a little bit. We're like, sweet, let's do it. So we took like 5 of us to this Evo meet, and there were like 30 cars in the parking lot. Get to the Evo meet. It's in this hot dog joint, actually around the corner. We roll in. First, we start getting stared at, like, why the hell are you guys even here? But the place was weird, man. All the hoods were shut. Everybody's hoods were shut. Everybody was standing right in front of their cars, like, or in their little cliques. You'll walk up, you're like, hey, man, this is pretty sweet. What's going on, you know? What's going on with this car? They're like, oh, it's stock. Gigantic-ass front mount.
Yeah.
You know, you could see the bump in the hood from where whatever monstrous turbo it is. You can see the wastegate dumps coming out the top.
Yeah.
You know, it's stock. I mean, why?
Yeah.
Why are you that guy?
Yeah.
But all these guys, everybody's car was stock. I mean, nobody wanted to talk. Nobody talked to anybody. They're like, their little cliques didn't talk to each other. They all just sat in the parking lot. Hour later, everybody left. Went in different directions. It didn't like they went somewhere else to get rid of the Subaru guys. They just all left.
Yeah.
It was really weird. And like the Volkswagen community, super open. Miata community, super open. Mini community, same shit, super open. So maybe those are kind of cutesy cars, okay? And maybe Subaru for some reason falls under cutesy cars. But like you go to a Honda event,
Take it
and
easy.
later, man, you go to a Honda meet, and you kind of end up with the same thing unless it's like a stancy kind of thing. But if it's like dudes are actually there for performance, they don't talk to each other. But then you go to a Gridlife thing where all of these people are in the same area, hoods up, whatever you want to know.
Yeah.
Yep, and they're more than happy to pull parts off their car to make sure you can run. Like, that's the sort of shit it is.
Yeah.
So it's, the environment totally changes the second you get there, which is so weird.
And the other thing is, like, that I really appreciate about Gridlife and all that stuff is, like, I don't know a whole lot. I know cars, not, like, I'm very much a novice.
Okay.
Everyone I've talked to in Gridlife, they're like, what do you want to know? It's, like, even you, like, Exhibit A. Like, what do you want to know? Here's what it, like, no one's like, oh, like, figure it out.
No,
I've never been told, go figure it out.
You're never going to get that.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that.
That's huge for people who want to get into
Even
something.
if you're annoying the living shit out of somebody, they will continue to help you.
Yeah.
They'll just talk shit behind your back. We'll be in the street mod chat going, Jesus, freaking dude. But no, seriously, it's not even like that. It's not clicky.
Yeah.
Even like the teams that people would think are clicky, like ASM, so Andy Smedgard Motorsports, and that's who Alex Moss, he runs like with that crew and stuff. I used to think those guys were clicky, and I'll say they're fairly like tight knit, but I wouldn't. Calling them clicky is not fair.
Yeah,
they'll tell you whatever you want to know. You want to walk up and have a conversation. Andy is very, very upfront and easy to talk to. He'll give you advice anytime you need it. Super, super cool guy. I think him and I just have drastically different personalities.
Yeah.
So just because you may not jive with a person to the point where like you want to hang out after the track or whatever doesn't mean that he's not like willing to help you or I'm not willing to help him or however that would work out. They're super great guys. And everybody's super friendly like that. Even if you're like a drastically different human being that just maybe you don't meld with everybody, everybody's still going to be super friendly and help you out.
I love that. And that's so huge. I mean, it's so huge.
That's great. I mean, it's a big pile of kumbaya, but I got to be honest, it's actually one of its weakest. It's probably Achilles heel. Okay, so let's look at Street Mod right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and look how competitive it is. And now we have a set of tires that is very skeptical. I'll be honest, if it was any other series, Jackie would not be running those tires.
Yeah.
Or he would have been DQ'd. There's a guy with headlight issues that we'll go into later, but headlight issues. We'll go with that. If it was any other series, that is to include Global Time Attack, which is the direct competitor, he would not have been running. Okay? Things that happened last year with a particular Mustang. There's an asterisk next to his record because of it.
Wow.
Any other series, he would have been bumped. Any other series. The problem with Gridlife is we're all friends and we don't want to shit on each other.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need some tough love. I do believe it may, and this is the only this is the harshest thing I could ever say about Gridlife, and I love them to pieces. But I think there needs to be a little more tough love, and we do need to tighten the rule book a little bit because things are starting to get a little out of hand, especially in things like Street Mod and Street where the box is very small to play in.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to accidentally or intentionally step out of the line.
I was going to ask you, so what happens, do you think there'll be a rule change because of these tires? Or
I think some things are going to be defined.
Okay.
So essentially, and I can't say this is what happened, but what I think happened is when Gridlife originally made the rule book, what they did is they looked at Global Time Attack and went, okay, here's kind of, and that rule book was derived from Redline way back in the day. So this has been U.S. Time Attack for a very long time now, over 20 years. Okay, so they kind of took that rule book and went, let's just trim the fat out of it and keep it super simple so people just land where they need to.
Yeah.
But by doing that, they also made this crazy gray area around the black and white. There isn't this black and white box where it kind of needs to be. It's this light gray, dark gray kind of murky area, and that's where you start to see things fall into there.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, the current rule is the tire has to be from a major manufacturer.
It needs to be from not a manufacturer, like a major distributor or a wholesaler or something like a major tire distribution, like a tire rack or a. And right now, I'd never heard of our comp before all of Tiregate.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to slam Jackie because he's just starting the shop up. So there's a lot of I've been there starting a shop up. I understand what that's about. Yeah. So he's got a lot going on, but I don't think there's a listed phone number for PhD right now. If there is, I don't know of it. So no offense to him, but he's not a major distributor. You can't just say you're a major distributor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that would be one of those gray areas.
That's a gray area.
Yeah.
I mean, currently, what is a major distributor? Jackie can say he's a major distributor right now, and he's not wrong. he might not be right, but he's not wrong.
Right. And
you know
that's
what I mean?
where that black and white
And the problem is you can land in the gray in all sorts of things. And you might not be right, but by the rule, you're not wrong. So you have a lot of people exploiting the chill of Gridlife right now, and it's going to come to a point where it's going to start hurting the series if they don't get it under control soon. And again, what Chris, Adam, and Abram have built over the past, 6 years now or something?
Yeah.
Nuts. Incredible. A community that is second to fucking none.
Yeah.
And look at Street Mod. Like, that's nuts. Okay? But with that stated, if it's going to continue to be nuts, there has to be some law and order, because it is 100%. It's getting very Wild West.
Yeah. And so I think I wanted to ask you, like, where do you see this going? What's going to end up?
So here's one of the problems we're running into. Street Mod is, we don't want to mess with it because, I mean, obviously the rule set's good.
Yeah.
I mean, some stuff needs to be clarified, but look how close we all are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're looking for when you write rules, is to make parity. You can't make parity like we have.
Right.
The goal of the rules is to keep everybody on an even playing field. Us at the top, we're as close as you can get.
That's the most even playing field.
Okay, if you're at the tip of the spear here, it's great. But the problem is, we have created getting to the tip of the spear because we're all a bunch of nut jobs. The thing I tell everybody is, Street Mod is not for street cars. It's for idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, we will sell our kidneys to get a tenth of a second. We do not care. For what essentially is supposed to be, one of the lower classes.
Right.
Which it obviously isn't. One of the things I don't think Gridlife realized, or a lot of other series have realized, is we in Street Mod, when we look at Street Mod, that was our destination. Gridlife looks at it as you're going to start in Street and you're going to modify your car a little more. You're going to go to Street Mod. You're going to modify your car a little more. You're going to go to Track Mod. We don't want to do that. We stop at Street Mod. We're going to build our car right to the edge of this box in any possible way we can, because this is where we want to be. None of us at the top have any intentions of going to Track Mod. Zero. Yeah. We don't want to go to Track Mod. What ends up happening, though, is you get these guys who, the intent of the class was for mildly modified vehicles with mild aero and mild power to have a place to compete, because the jump from currently to Street Mod is Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
If you want to compete at the top of Street Mod, you got to throw a lot of money into your street car to get there.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And with that stated, I don't want to take anything away from a lot of what these guys in Street are doing, because they are flying. They're not far off the pace of, they're beating some of our old Street Mod records.
Yeah.
They're flying. Okay.
Yeah.
So that class is progressing too. It's actually getting hard inside of Street to go fast. But with that stated, it is a much smaller box. What I'm worried about is these guys who are kind of like mid-pack, where they have the spirit of the rules type of car, getting aggravated. And some of them are. And some of them deserve, for the amount of effort they're putting in, to win something. Okay, just be recognized. But their car is in La La Land right now. I almost wonder if they're going to change the name of some of our classes. And like, there almost needs to be, they need to like chop Street Mod in half.
Yeah.
And something like this, or Alex Moss's car, or maybe even Jackie's car, or whatever, you call that Street Extreme.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is Looney Tunes builds.
Right.
Okay? And maybe to a point, maybe you can even loosen the rules in a certain couple of spots to deal with the kind of power we're putting through these, instead of like trying to shoehorn us into stupid things. And then you have Street Modified turns into something that is legitimately that. Maybe turbo size restrictions. Maybe a little more stringent aero restrictions. Maybe your splitter, instead of 5 inches, is only getting 3 inches. Or you're not allowed splitter diffusers or something. Just weird shit. We can come up with something. Yeah. You're required to have more of your interior or something. Maybe there's a minimum weight. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But it has gotten Looney Tunes. It's gotten absolutely Looney Tunes what you can do in Street Mod, because the rule book was fairly loose, and we just keep getting crazier and crazier, and we don't want to leave Street Mod.
Right.
Whatever you would call that. Street Limited, I don't know.
And you also don't want to break up what you guys have.
No, because if you were to ruin, if you were to say, okay, we got to chill street mod out.
Yeah.
Fuck, half of our builds would be screwed.
I was gonna say, like, I know that this would never happen, but if they change it to like rear-wheel drive only or like something like that,
what I could see, like if they did a turbo restriction size, or they're like, like in my case, they were to say no more dry sumps. You know what I mean? Because Sean Cressbach's he's looking at a dry sump now because he gets one lap before he gets so much blow by that it fills his catch can. It's an Evo thing. They do that. I don't know if you heard that. So 4G63s are great motors until they're not great motors. Yeah. But either way, like, he's looking at a dry sump, so he doesn't have that problem. The reason I did a dry sump is because the oiling's kind of meh on this, and that's a way to make this crazy motor just a little more reliable.
Yeah.
But that's not making me go any faster. But they were talking about. There was throwing around the idea of saying, maybe dry sumps aren't going to be allowed, or, maybe this or that would. I mean, there's a million different small things that would completely tweak the rules that you could chill it out. But if they were to do that to us, it would butt fuck us.
Yeah.
A lot of us guys at tip of the spear would be frickin' screwed.
Yeah. And then you have a breakup.
And then some of us go to track mod and try to figure it out.
Yeah. And
then right now, track mod is dominated by a twin turbo Corvette that on his
C6?
lowest C6 on his that's Ferris or Cartoony, I think is how you technically say his last name. It's a C6 Vet twin turbo. Jeez. On his lowest boost setting makes 700 on Viper ACRs all the way around, and if he turns the dial, he makes well over 1,000 on a sequential trans. Jeez. We're not. As much as I love this thing, I can't go fight with that. I built this car specifically for that rule set. I picked that car for that rule set. Yeah. And like same thing with, you could probably get an Evo up in there. I could probably massage this thing up into there, but it would be hell. It would cost me freakish amounts more money and rethinking everything that I have done.
Yeah.
Or I would have to take a step back, and all this money that I have spent on this, I'd have to rip it all to pieces to make.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I think the only fix is, because Street Mod is by far the largest group of cars we have out there, it literally makes up half the field most of the time. I think we need to make a Street Limited, or call this Street Extreme. One of the problems we have with this class, and people get angry, is streets in the name.
Yeah.
They're like, that ain't a street car. I got to be honest, it'll have plates here in about a week. I can drive that down the road.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Blinkers and everything work.
Do you have a passenger seat?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to know what that feels like? We will go fix that.
I do.
Yeah. When you're screaming heels of Jesus, we'll see.
I'm ready. Get ready for that video, because that'll...
I'm going to take it to a meet, so...
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's just to say I can do it.
Yeah.
One of the rules they implemented this year, which I think was a decent idea, and it's very Gridlife-esque, is they implemented anything that has street in the name. So Street GT, Street, and Street Mod all have the ice cream rule. And what that is at any point, the scrutineer, Abe, can go, you got to go get your spouse or my spouse ice cream. Go drive your car and get ice cream. The problem with that is that leaves a lot open to...
Oh, on the road, you mean?
You got to go drive and get ice cream.
Okay.
I think what they should just say is, this thing needs to be registered, and it needs to be, like, registered, insured, and, your headlights and shit need to work. Like, just keep it simple. Because nobody wants to drive their RE71 200 treadwear, 100 treadwear tires that are set up with, like, Looney Tunes camber down the road. I don't want to drive down the road with a helmet on with that kind of cage in it.
Yeah.
These are things some of us have. I really should be running a head restraint seat because of how crazy this thing is. You shouldn't drive that on the road because you can't look to turn to see. It's not safe. Is it safe, like, on track? Is it technically a street car? Will I drive that down the road? Yeah, dude, I've done way dumber. But to the rules, this is still 100% fair. The problem is we're starting to step outside of what the intent of the rules was.
Right.
So I don't know what to... Again, I don't write the rules, and I love anything Gridlife does. I think one of the coolest things they did is V8s were ruining street, and they gave them this awesome spot to play in, and it's now one of the coolest classes they've ever done. I think Street GT is awesome. They let them run huge fat tires. It's for NA V8s and turbo V6s. So GTRs don't have to go play in track mod anymore. You got a basic Porsche, you don't have to go play in track mod anymore.
Yeah.
Like you can go party with your 1LE Camaro, and which I think is what's winning it right now, and your Vets and stuff like that. They have this really cool spot to play.
Yeah.
Street then turned into mildly modified cars again, which is great. So you got Evos and STIs and S2000s and M3s and stuff like that. And street mod. I think there needs to be somewhere for that mildly modified car. And I'm not the one to make the rules for that, but I think it needs to exist.
As we're coming up on an hour, I don't want to cut the off.
Hey, I love it.
I love it. Tiregate, final thoughts. Like I said, I'm really happy that it's good for everybody for Jackie to get a tire sponsor. But with that said, I think it's shitty. I just do. I really think it's shitty. I think it's there's gray area, and I think that was super dark gray. Yeah.
And I just, it's I don't want to call it not classy. I want him to be supported by his company. Okay? I'm so torn on this.
Yeah.
Because if he literally is, and I could be putting my foot in my mouth here in a month. Okay.
Yeah.
But if he really just is the tip of the spear, the first guy to get these tires.
Yeah.
Okay. He really is just that. That's really cool. We should all be happy as Street Mod that exists. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's super cool. But right now, it just doesn't look that way.
Yeah.
The appearance of this is ugly.
Yeah.
And he's been a little bit of a dick about it. Okay? Like, I mean, I'm okay with saying that. He's been kind of a jerk about the whole thing. He made some comments about maybe taking some, like, tissues to the podium and stuff. I gotta be real. It made me really root for my direct competitors of Sean and Alex when they got around them. Half of me was just excited that they were going so fast, but the other half was just happy they got around Jackie. Because if Jackie would have won, honestly, probably one of the best things that happened is Jackie didn't win. Not only for Jackie, but for Street Mod in general.
Yeah.
Because from a social standpoint, Jackie not winning proves that the tires maybe aren't God tier. But also with that stated, nobody wants to see, there's got to be a villain in every story.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody wants to see Darth Vader win. Mm-hmm. Unless you're just a horrible human being. Some of us want to see the Joker win, but he's kind of made himself a villain and in a lot of people's story, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Because Jackie is kind of our Halo guy right now, and nobody wants to see your kind of social big gun like be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But it's not a good look.
Yeah. Jackie, open invite to come on the pod, defend your corner.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
I'd love to see it.
I guarantee he's gonna see this, and he's gonna bitch me out. He'll probably physically come over here and give me shit, but that's just. I'm not the only one who's saying this. Yeah. This is Street Mod in general. We all talk a lot, and he knows how we all feel. So
yeah. Well, thank you for coming on again.
Yeah, this was great, dude. Anytime.
I can't wait to get a ride in this thing.
We're gonna do it.
It's gonna be rowdy.
We're gonna do it. It's gonna
be freaky and rowdy.
Now you need to come to some of these Gridlife events. I want you to. And if you need help understanding what you should be looking at, more than happy to help you with it. But I want to show you how to be a good Time Attack fan.
Yeah.
Because once you get over that hump of understanding what's going on, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of a learning curve to it.
I'd love to. I didn't even know the event at Autobahn was going on until I saw
they were kind of low key about it.
Yeah.
I mean you might be able to sneak in because you're kind of media. Yeah. I happen to know a couple of people, so if we gotta slide you under the radar to get you in there, I get you in there.
Okay.
But when this does all open up,
it
would be really cool for you to show people how to be a Time Attack fan.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And it would be great.
Yeah.
And you're the right guy to do it because you know a thing or two, but you don't know everything.
Right.
You're not super technical about it. You have the basics of what's going on. So you're going to be the average person being interested in this. So.
I love it.
I look forward to it. Well, thanks again for coming on.
Sweet, dude.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the Shooting Cars podcast. If you guys are interested in seeing the video version of this podcast, head on over to youtube.com/shootingcars, where you'll not only find the video version of this podcast, but tons of other automotive related videos, car reviews, rotary engine videos, RX-7 stuff, vlogs, and much, much more. So if you're interested in that stuff, please head on over to Shooting Cars on YouTube. But thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll catch you next episode.